We are very excited to bring back to Casa Italiana Zerilli-Marimò these 2 evenings, tonight and tomorrow, of Italy on Screen Today New York. As you might know, it's part of a much larger event that involves different institutions, different sites. And it's the thing that they have in common is new cinema or TV series that have never been seen in the United States. Tonight, we have even an exception to that, because the series we are presenting tonight, dedicated to Giacomo Leopardi, the greatest poet of the Italian 19th century, has never been seen in Italy either. It will air after that we see it, after that we have a chance to see it here. So I saw it already, because I couldn't resist, but I'm going to see it again. And you're in for a treat, and I see some familiar faces of people that went to school in Italy and probably studied Giacomo Leopardi, and a lot of stereotypes and a lot of things that had nothing to do with the poor poet. And I think the series is very, very well done. So you'll have time to judge. How is this marathon, Leopardi marathon, working? We're going to see the first episode now. Immediately after, I'm asking you to stay here, and we're going to have the awards ceremony. It's going to be a very brief ceremony with the prize Vento d'Europa that is going to be given to the protagonist of the film that is going to be here with us. And the Consul General of Italy is going to perform that ceremony and give the award to Leonardo Maltese. Immediately after, we're going to see the second part of Leopardi, and that's the story. And I'm asking you again, for tomorrow, we have a double bill tomorrow as well, 2 different films. The first one at 4 p.m. is the last movie by Marco Tullio Giordana, that some of you might remember as the director of The Best of Youth. This is his new film he presented in Venice, right, Loredana? And immediately after the screening of Giordana's film, we're going to see another film, Shakespeare in Naples, based on a play, based on a theatrical performance, recently transposed for the screen and already a great success. And is going to be with us to talk about the film Jacopo Rampini, who plays the role of Shakespeare in the film. So it's a lot of stuff, a lot of very fun and interesting stuff, and I hope you will come back. I just want to thank the director of Italy on Screen Today, New York, who is here with us and never stops. I don't know how she does it, because she goes from one festival that she organizes to another one, and with all the complications and the intricacies of navigating Italian bureaucracy, I don't know, she deserves, if not a monument, at least a big plaque on the wall, because it's like the patience that you need to have when you have to deal with people that tell you, maybe in a week we're going to tell you something, and then in the week become 2, and you're dealing with theaters, institutions that want to firm their calendar. Grazie Loredana per la pazienza che dimostri e il lavoro che fai. And without further ado, please enjoy Leopardi, Poeta dell'Infinito. Thank you. Signore e signori, ladies and gentlemen, the protagonist of Leopardi, Poeta dell'Infinito, Leonardo Maltese.
Grazie mille. Thank you very much.
So I know that maybe it doesn't make complete sense to have a Q&A before the end of the movie, but we have scheduling problems, so bear with us. And we are very, very grateful that Leonardo accepted our invitation and is here with us for the absolute premiere of this film, because it has not been seen in Italy. So you can email and let your friend in Italy know that you already see what they're going to see. When is it going to open?
It's going to be screened on the 7th of January. Well, everyone knows the ending anyway, because, Leopardi was a real character, so he sadly died when he was 37. But, we hope people are going to enjoy the rest of the story that they're going to see in January on public television in Italy, sulla RAI.
La RAI lo fa.
Yes.
So a few things. So first of all, you see that he's really young as he appears in the film, right? And Leonardo, 2 things about your 2 previous films, because you did basically 3 very big films, right?
Yes.
You have a beginning of your career with a bang.
Yeah.
You were in Gianni Amelio's film Il Signore delle Mosche, where you played the role of the young victim of this story, very sad and very complicated story. And then you were in Marco Bellocchio's film Rapito, and you were the young Edgardo Mortara. And now this with Sergio Rubini. There are many actors your age at the beginning, Bellocchio, Rubini, Amelio. How was it to start your career with these three very important directors, the differences that you encountered? Is this what you signed up for when you started studying acting?
No, absolutely not. This was not my plan. Well, it was obviously my dream. I mean, that's what I think everyone that chooses to be an actor, like the greatest challenge is to have big roles and complicated roles, and just the possibility to work with big directors that have actually made this history of Italian cinema. That just freaks me out. Like the fact that Marco Bellocchio was at Venice Film Festival in 1960 along with the Pasolini.
That would be when your parents were born.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah. And so that was very nice. Also because you know that you're kind of taking part in a piece of art that will stay for a long time in history of cinema. So that was a great thing for me. But no, that is definitely not what I expected when I thought about being.
Too
an
bad
actor.
his English is not that good, right? Let's reveal the secret.
Yeah, because my mum is actually from England, UK, so that's why.
But you were born and raised in Rome, right?
No, I was born and raised in the northeast of Italy, a town called Ravenna, which is near Bologna. And then I moved to England when I was 16, and then I moved back to Italy to study acting in Rome, and that's where everything happened.
So where did you study? Where did you go to high school?
Well, I did high school in Ravenna, and that's when I started acting in theatre, and mainly in theatre. And then I studied acting in England, and then in Rome I did also a theatre academy called the Sofia Mendolea, with which I also did several theatre international festivals, which was also a great experience for me.
The question about your high school is not because I want to drill you now with questions, but of course, for any Italian that goes to school in Italy, you encounter Leopardi in a way or the other. Tell us very sincerely, what was your first impression of Leopardi when you're probably in the last year of high school, I believe, right?
Yeah.
In
No,
Quinta.
I loved it.
From the get-go.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. True story. I was once in Macerata with my mum because she came over to go to the opera, where there's this beautiful opera arena, and I just realized that Recanati, the birthplace of Leopardi, was very close, and I told Mum, we have to go to Recanati to see Leopardi's house. And she was like, why? Like, since when do you like Leopardi? I was like, I love Leopardi. I've always loved him. But nobody knew. I didn't tell anyone. It was something like very private. And then flash forward a couple of years later, I ended up actually playing Leopardi. So, and then my mum was like, ha! It all makes sense now.
You knew it.
He knew it.
And Leonardo, and what did you like about Leopardi?
Well, Leopardi is a young poet. Like, he wrote The Infinite when he was 20. And he wrote most of his poems before he was 21. And the things that he talks about and the way that he talks about those feelings are such a young feeling, I think. It's like when you're young, like the pain you feel when maybe like there's a heartbreak or something bad happens, it just feels huge. It just feels gigantic, doesn't it? And then as more as you grow up, you start realizing and rationalizing everything. But Leopardi just really gives this idea of huge pain and suffering and huge love at the same time, just in the way that a young person would do, I think. So maybe that.
And what do you think about Rubini's Leopardi? Because for our friends here, maybe you don't know, but in Italy there was a film, a beautiful film on Leopardi, Il giovane favoloso, by Mario Martone, una decina d'anni fa?
Yeah, something like that.
About 10 years ago. Great success. Elio Germano plays Leopardi. How was that for you? You saw it, obviously.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And I'm not asking you to compare this and that, but were you looking at it? Were you thinking about Germano's interpretation? It's very recent. Germano is a brilliant actor, right? Yeah. And the film was very good.
It was. It was a great film with an amazing actor, which is Elio Germano. However, I didn't watch it after I knew that I was going to play Leopardi because I didn't want to be influenced by what he did. But I did see the film when it came out at the time, and I loved it. the main difference is, well, first of all, just the fact that that was an actual film for the cinema, whereas this is something for television. It's a mini-series, so it lasts 4 hours. So just as simple as that, you have more time to talk about more stuff about the character, whereas in 90 minutes or 120 minutes, you have to, limit yourself. And also, the first time that I met Sergio Rubini, he told me, "Do you like Leopardi?" And I said, "Yeah, I love Leopardi. I love his poems." And he said, "Oh, you should know about his philosophy works as well." And I was like, I didn't know about that. I haven't studied that. And so I think we worked a lot on the Operette Morali and a lot of his works and his idea of, as a philosopher more than as a poet. And I think that's one of the differences with Martone's work.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And then there is the element of youth that you were underlining. You are probably 10, 15 years younger than Elio Germano when you made the film, or when he made the film. And in that choice too, there is also not only the fact that Rubini wanted to go for your body type, your presence, but probably also to underline the fact that he was not this old boring thing. He was a young, passionate, troubled young man.
Absolutely, yeah. I love Rubini's idea. I think it was very right, because as you were saying, we study Leopardi as a very sad, depressed, pessimistic person who's always at home and can't go outside, and he's always falling in love with people that don't love him back, and so he's angry. But there's so much more to that. He was actually very passionate. He was desperate for love, and he writes it in some letters. He says, "I don't need any glory. I don't need any money. I want love. That's all I need."
Yeah.
And so I was very happy to be able to play this type of character with Rubini's idea, which was of this very delicate and fragile person.
And gentle, right?
Yeah.
Very kind and very listening. And
absolutely, yeah.
And when at the beginning I said that Leopardi needs to be somehow ransomed out of the classes of high schools, not because the teachers don't do a good job. Some of them do an excellent job, obviously. But there is also the fact that when you present an author like him to millions of students every year, inevitably you end up producing a narrative that oversimplifies things. Yeah. And having seated in one of the esami di maturità, and I was the commissario for letteratura italiana, I heard all sorts of things when it came to Leopardi, and the flow of thought would be, he studied a lot, therefore he got a hunchback, and since he had a hunchback, no girl wanted to be with him, and he was very sad because the things. No. Each of these facts might be a reality, but it's the concatenation, the logical element that keeps them together. But it's also something that we keep in mind, and the idea of his physical appearance. And how much that has or has not influenced his presence seems to be one of the topics in Italian schools. Yeah. And here it's not really discussed at all. Yeah. They didn't ask you to put a hunchback.
No.
Okay.
I did not.
And you're right. I think here it's all play on the key of fragility. Yeah. He's frail. He's vulnerable. You don't need to put makeup or body makeup.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he says it, and Leopardi says in real life, he says, don't get me wrong, I am not sad because of my physical condition. My physical condition helps me to see pain in a way that I wouldn't be able to see if I were in a different physical shape. But it's not as simple as that. He was a very complex person.
Yes.
And he surely did have some episodes of depression, of severe and clinical, like today what we would call depression. But that's just a phase of life. That's just a part of it. And And it's very interesting because in his main book, which is Lo Zibaldone, which is this huge collection of thoughts and poems that he wrote all along his life, it's very interesting because sometimes he'll say something and then a few chapters later he'll say something completely the opposite, which is exactly what we do in life, you know? Like what I thought when I was 22 is not the same that I think now when I'm 27. And so that's one of the things that made me thought that we can't take him as a singular, monodimensional person. It's a huge, complex character, so we have to be very careful with him, yeah.
Yes. And I think the movie does that, at least for the part we saw now. Let's see now. There is time for questions or comments from our public. In the meantime, I want to remind the students of Professor Monda in the class Italian Cinema at Tisch that there is a clipboard there. You can sign your name to take attendance. It's a real class. Yes, prego. Nabil, the microphone? Okay. No, to him. You can take him in there.
I was curious because Leopardi, but also Rapito and Il Signore delle Formiche are period movies. Of course, different eras and different times. But that means actually a different body language of your character, a different pace of voice and tone. How did you work in order to develop these sides of your characters that are not contemporary?
Well, I personally work a lot with with the physical aspect of how to build a character, not in a very external way, not in a way that maybe audience will be able to realize, but just for me, it's something that I use personally as a tool to get into a character. And as you said, they are all period characters, especially the one in Rapito. It's very interesting because Rapito has it's just a few years after Leopardi's death, because Leopardi died in 1834 and Rapito is set in 1860. So and Leopardi talks and kind of sees the way that Italy is about to change.
And it's in the state of the church in the region of Romagna.
Yeah, Leopardi lives in the state of the church, and well, I don't want to spoil because I think there's a few more things in the next episode. And but actually, I worked quite instinctively on the first two films. What happened is the next film that I will that you might see me in is a film by Roberto Andò, which is going to be called The Labbaglio, which is a film about Garibaldi. And I'm not Garibaldi, obviously.
That would be interesting.
That would be nice, a young Garibaldi. And Roberto, actually, I was speaking with him, and he told me about the fact that he sees a lot of period films where he thinks that actors don't put the physical language that they should have in the 18th century. And so he helped me a lot to think about how, you need to actually change. Like, you wouldn't speak in the same way and you wouldn't move in the same way.
The secret is the underwear.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. Luchino Visconti, that as you know was a fanatic of details, ordered to his costume designer and friend Piero Tosi to have underwear from the time for all the actors and extras. Because how can they walk like a lady in the 1860 if she's wearing normal modern underwear? Absolutely. So both men and women had to wear that kind of underwear. That definitely modifies your way of walking, your way of sitting down. And so the secret is the underwear.
And Maurizio Milanotti, who is the costume designer.
Beautiful costumes.
Beautiful costumes. And he was a pupil of Piero Tosi. Yeah. So you see how it all connects.
But did they give you also underwear? You're not supposed to reveal
it.
No,
I don't want to tell you that. Let's not get into that.
Yes, Andrea. Nabju here.
Hi, and congratulations. Can you talk about how many hours of your preparation as an actor? Like how many weeks before principal photography started, rehearsal with the director, and did you get any table reads with your cast members, and also about like the working day. You know, like did the director like clear set of all the crew so that you guys could just work out the scene and a little bit? Could you talk a little bit about that, the preparation as an actor?
Yeah, sure. Well, I was very lucky as an actor because they told me about this film and it was December, and we should have filmed it in June. I remember because in May I was in Cannes for Kidnapped for Rapito, and I'm just about to start to play Leopardi, and then the film got delayed until September, so I had a very long time, so nearly a year, just to read Leopardi every single day. I can assure you that's a huge task to do because it's not an easy thing to read. But I just read it every day, just to make sure that language would be familiar to me and it wouldn't sound like something difficult. And I was also very lucky because Sergio Rubini, the director, is also an amazing actor. And this was the first time that I worked with a director that's also an actor and an amazing actor like Sergio is. So we kind of spoke the same language. It was very helpful. And we worked in a very theatrical way. So we did a lot of rehearsals like months before, just me and Sergio, just to talk about Leopardi, me and Ranieri, Cristiano Caccamo, me, Ranieri, and Giusy Buscemi, Fanny Targioni Tozzetti. We all had to create a real synergy. And so yeah, Sergio is very good as a director, I think, because sometimes he would tell me, let's say if Leopardi comes from, he needs to have like a heavy breathing because he was maybe running or something. He was like, Leo, you gotta go and run. Like you can't just do it. Like you have to do it. Like it's gotta be real. So yeah, we worked very, very closely, me and Sergio particularly.
I think Ingrid was asking, where was the film shot?
The film was shot in many different places of Italy. So we have obviously Recanati, which is the birthplace of Leopardi.
So you shot inside the estate?
No, we shot in the actual Leopardi mansion. Is a different house.
Yeah,
it's a different house in Puglia, in the south of Italy. And then obviously we had to spend some time in Naples, and then we shot bits of Naples. We shot them in another town in Puglia, which is called Taranto, because it's interesting because since Napoli won the Serie A, it's completely different because there's all just banners of Napoli, so it's difficult to shoot there.
And then, was there a scene in Mantova?
Yes, there was a scene in Mantova, which is where I shot Kidnapped too.
Chiara, our spokesperson, is from Mantova from me, and she texted me, there is Mantova, it's behind Sant'Andrea. So several cities provide this sort of background. And the scenes inside the studios were?
We did some studios in Piemonte, in Torino.
Stefano.
Non sei in perfetto orario. Tranquillo, ciao Giorgio. Prego, Andrea.
So congratulations, first of all. Second, I'm sure you had an interaction with the descendant of the family, with Olimpia and perhaps with the Centro Nazionale Studi Leopardiani. How was it?
Yes. Well, I actually personally weren't able to meet Olimpia just because of the set times, but Sergio did have a strict collaboration with the Centro di Studi Leopardiani, and I think they worked together also while they were writing the film. But yeah, I personally weren't able to meet Olimpia, unfortunately.
She's the last descendant, right?
Yes.
There are two.
Yeah.
Francesco and Olimpia, but Olimpia is running the show. The legacy of Giacomo is in the hand.
Olimpia handles everything.
Other questions? Yes. We'll wait for the microphone just 1 minute. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Did you have a scene in Campo Delegate in Venice where Leopardi lived for 2 or 3 years?
No, unfortunately not. We weren't able to shoot in Venice.
That's too bad because I live just a few blocks from the place. I pass by every day.
No, but
I see here, qui dove
visse Giacomo. But that's another interesting fact about Leopardi. People think he was always in the same place. The man traveled all around Italy, which at the time wasn't as easy as it is today. He lived in Venice, he lived in Bologna, he lived in Florence, in Pisa.
And they were all different states, so
he needed a passport.
He was abroad, yeah.
Yes, and he lived in Napoli, so a real, you know, he traveled a lot. He saw the world. He wanted to see the world. He wanted to live in the world. He didn't want to be at home.
When are you starting to shoot your new film?
I think we started in September, and we shot for 11 weeks, from September to December, and then we did a few more bits in January and February. So a long part of my life.
And are you the protagonist of the film?
Pardon?
Are you the protagonist of the new film?
Oh no. Of the L'Abbaglio, you mean?
L'Abbaglio, sì.
No. The main characters are Tony Servillo.
Che fa Garibaldi,
No, not Garibaldi, no.
Lui.
There's other general of the Garibaldi army, and Ficarre Picone. I'm a smaller character.
Young Garibaldino.
A young Garibaldino, yeah.
Any other question? Yes.
And you can pass on this, but I'm just very curious, as a student of English literature, how would you compare, if you will, as somebody who's half English, Leopardi to Keats and Shelley, and maybe Byron, but Keats and Shelley, definitely.
I love that question, because Leopardi, sadly, I think Leopardi's works are not really easy to translate, especially in the English language. He was well known in Germany, and there's a few good translations. Apparently, I don't know German, but apparently it's quite a good translation, which is also why Nietzsche read Leopardi and really thought good things of him.
And the great thing about that spreading of Leopardi in that part of the world is that that's where they considered him one of the greatest philosophers of the century. They also appreciated the poetry, but all over Northern Europe, Leopardi was a great philosopher. He was appreciated for his philosophy.
Yeah.
And there were also the early translations. And here we have recently had the possibility of having a brand new translation of I Canti and a brand new translation of Le Operette Morali.
Wow.
So now it's really, you have everything you want to get started on your Leopardi, also in American English.
Yeah.
But you know, it's true that before it was not that easy. He's not an easy author. If you do not have a good translation, it's almost impossible to appreciate him.
Yes, unfortunately, yeah. But with, I'll tell you that Sergio Rubini is a huge fan of Byron, and so there's a little bit of him in the way that we build the character, but I don't know if I should say this, because they're different, but yeah, a little bit, surely.
But the poetry itself, I mean, are there different preoccupations, or are they similar? Do you see the similarities, romantic?
Yeah, there's obviously a lot of romanticism and of the same time, and that Leopardi had a huge romantic period. But again, as I was saying earlier, it's difficult to just put him in that box.
Yeah, and he would have not liked to be called a romantic poet.
Unfortunately not, no.
He had this huge classical heritage on his back. And it's something that somehow crashed him, but it's also what lifted him up. Yeah. So, and the romantic English poets, of course, they all studied some Latin and so on, but it was not so present as it was for him, the classical heritage. Yes. I think we have time now for our award ceremony. In the meantime, Minister Fabrizio Di Michele, the Consul General of Italy, and his wife Giorgia arrived, and so we are all ready to go. Loredana, Consul General, please.
I just would like to thank Stefano Albertini for supporting us and hosting us here. All his team, Chiara, Julian, and Kostya. And now I thank the Italian General Consul Fabrizio Di Michele, and I want to thank Leonardo, because it's very young but great talent and great actor. So Giorgia now will read the motivation about the awards.
Hi everybody, good evening. So, for giving back to the poet of the infinite, strength and vitality, determination and a will to fight, beyond the dreamer's spirit and brilliant intellect, a poise in acting that reveals study and method, a talent on the rise. To Leonardo Maltese, the Wind of Europe International Award.
Wow.